got Chris Allmeid pulling up to the Miami Hustle. Thank you for your time, of course. For the ones that don't know, we know each other from high school. We went to Coral Gables High.
Yep.
So shout out to all the Coral Gables alumni, all the Coral Gables students. You already know.
Which I actually didn't graduate from Coral Gables. I got kicked out.
Let's talk about it.
I got kicked out on my the very beginning of my junior year, and I got called into Mr. Evans' office. Shout out Mr. Evans though, he was mad cool. And he called my mom up. Actually, I went into class, and the teacher was like, "Yo, you're not in my attendance."
Wow, that's how they got you out?
I was like, "Oh, maybe they changed my class or something. I don't know."
Were you in trouble before? Like, did you get a warning or?
I'm sure I got warning. I don't remember, to be honest. It's so long
just
ago.
so the people know out there, Chris has always been doing his thing in photography. Even since high school, I always knew him, and everybody knew him as a photographer. So shout out to you for still doing your thing at a extremely high level. So we're gonna talk about that. But before we get into that, have you always gotten in trouble in high school and then finally got kicked out, or something happened in junior year?
I mean, I wouldn't say I've gotten into trouble because I wasn't the kid that would get into fights or anything like that. But I did have some moments where I was I got suspended. I would be in CSI most of the day, and it was mainly the uniform thing or being late or getting detention because I'm late. I was late a lot. And I didn't care about school. So I go to class. My name isn't on the attendance. And I'm like, okay, I go to the office and they call my mom. My mom comes. We go to Mr. Evans' office. Mr. Evans says that I've been tardy 127 times.
God damn.
In a single school year. And I have 14 or 20 absences. Mind you, I've never skipped school. I've never gone, left my house and been fuck this, I'm not going to school. Never did that. I just genuinely was always late. And I don't know.
I didn't think that would be a reason to kick someone out of school.
They kicked me out of Miami-Dade public school systems,
bro.
Yeah, I couldn't go to any other school in Miami-Dade.
For being late? That's
for
crazy.
being late. Yeah. And
I thought we were gonna get a crazy story, bro.
Nah, bro. Look, I obviously I wasn't the best kid, I wasn't the best student, but
why do you think
I don't feel like I was a shitty student, shitty person,
Why do you think you're always late?
I mean, waking up late. My mom, I mean, she always, and I'm not blaming them at all, they've had full-time jobs their whole life, my parents, and my mom would take me to school most of the time. But there would be times where, she'd wake me up, and I just wouldn't want to wake up.
Yeah.
I just simply wouldn't want to get out of bed.
I'm sure.
And it would get to that point where she would, be, mad. She'd be like, come on, you got to go to school. You got to go to school. She'd drop me off on the train. I'd go and walk to, I'd get off on Douglas or whatever it was called. And I'd walk to school. And I was late, 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, I'm sure many people could relate not wanting to wake up to go to school. So
yeah,
I feel you. And what happened after you got kicked out? Where did your life take you when you...
My mom took me to that one education center at Douglas Park. I can't remember what it was called, but essentially to get my GED, to drop out, get my GED, and she was just like, just quit, just give up. Obviously, you're gonna fail at school, just give up.
When you were trying to get your GED, did you get more focused on photography too, or no?
No, I didn't end up getting my GED.
Oh, okay, got you.
Bro, hearing those words from my mom telling me to quit, bro, that broke my heart, man. That broke my heart, and I was like, nah, I gotta walk that stage. I have to graduate. I have to do better. I have to graduate. I have to make my parents proud. And I went to the only school that I was able to go to. It was Green Springs or Ace Academy, which were opportunity schools here in Miami. And I ended up going to Ace Academy. And yeah, I got into Ace Academy, and my GPA went from like, I think it was at like a 0.75 all the way to like a 2.6, 2.7, some shit like that. I don't remember exactly, but it went up drastically within those 2 years, and I was able to graduate. I even, bro, the craziest part, and this proves that I do not care about education, because the FCAT would come around and I would just not care about the test, and I would just answer whatever. I would never actually do the test. And my senior year came around at Ace Academy, and my principal called me in, and she was like, Chris, you failed your FCAT the last 11 years. Like if you want to graduate, you have to pass the FCAT. And I was like, okay, and I passed it.
Nice.
And then I got called in for cheating because they couldn't believe the fucking score that I had versus all my previous scores.
Did you cheat?
No.
That's fucked up.
No, I just genuinely don't give a fuck about school
bro.
and education. I think it was, I just genuinely, I wasn't interested in it.
How did they call you? What did they think you did to cheat? Like, what was
They just asked me,
like?
they were like, what is going on? And I told them the truth. I was like, look, I've known what I wanted to do my entire life. I straight up told my principal that. And I told my counselor that. I was like, I know. I fly into New York once a month on long weekends, like on teacher planning days or on like whatever it is. I'll leave right after school, go to New York, stay at my cousin's house, take a train every single day from Connecticut to New York so that I can work out there doing photography. I told him I take my portfolio to New York, and I literally knock on every single modeling agency's doors. I don't care who they are. I don't care who you are in the building. I'm going to show you my portfolio and try to find a way to get in. And I did that every single time that I could. And with the money that I was making after a successful trip in New York, I would buy my next flight, and I would go the next month. I'd find the next, teacher planning day. And if it's on a Thursday, I'd tell my mom, I really, really want to go to New York. Can I please, I'd not go to school on Friday and come back on Monday morning. I would land the earliest flight. I would land and go to school with my luggage.
Speaking of flights.
Yeah, for real. But
hey,
it's just like,
inspiring, man.
I would do that shit, bro. And I told my principal, and like she noticed throughout the years, and then she asked me about why I would bring my luggage to school and stuff like that. And she thought I was having problems at home, and I just told her the truth. I was like, I go to New York and I work out there, and I showed her my work. And when that FCAT thing happened, I explained all of that, and I reminded her of all of those moments of her seeing me with my luggage. And she completely understood. She said, it's obvious that you're not dumb, but you simply have zero interest in what we have to teach you because you know what you want in life.
That's
I was like, yes, exactly. Yeah. Can you tell my parents this, please?
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like at some point, school becomes a little bit of a daycare because everyone has to work. So the parents have to go to work and the kids got to go to school.
Yeah, 100%.
But not everything in school, I feel like, is completely necessary for life, especially if you know what you want to do. I think if you know what you want to do, there's not really a necessity for school after high school and you know the basics. I think it's actually important for people to take a year off after high school to find out what they want to do and discover who they are.
You think so?
I think so. Because, for example, like if you didn't know what you wanted to do and what route you wanted to take, imagine you hating school and then having to go to college right after. Yeah. You're going to continue to get lost in something you don't like to do. And I feel like creatives, like we're all creatives as humans, especially like you. But as creatives, we need to like find ourselves to see what we like, what we're good at. Like, how did you know that you were passionate about photography and how old were you?
So my very first memory of photography. Sorry. My bad.
No, you're good. As long as the alien's all good, bro.
My fault, bro.
All good. We forgive.
My very first memory of photography is between two people in my life. My brother, my older brother, and my godfather. My godfather was he was just a hobbyist as a photographer, but he had a lot of equipment. He would invest in his equipment. My brother had a photography class in high school, and he would bring back his negatives and scans, and like the the shit that he would do in the dark room,
Hmm.
the developed photos.
I've
Sorry.
never been in one of those, but from the movies, it looks
I've never been in
crazy.
one either.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So don't feel bad. Like, I've always like envisioned it as like one of those rooms with red lights,
Exactly,
But
yeah.
apparently it's like pitch black. Like at one point it's like dark. You're doing everything completely blind.
Yeah,
But that's
wow.
besides the point. So my brother and my godfather. My godfather, I would see my brother. Sorry, I would see my brother bring these negatives and these photos back, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And then my godfather showed me a book of his photos, and there was this photo of a gorilla, and I thought it was so cool. It was a close up of this gorilla, and it was the coolest picture I've ever seen in my life. And I told him that.
What do you think made it so cool, aside from being
I just
a
thought it was
close
really
gorilla?
cool how close he was to
Oh, okay,
the gorilla. Yeah, he was just like, dude, it looked
That's scary.
The image literally felt like he was like this to the gorilla, and it like made me feel this emotion. I
Mhm.
guess I didn't comprehend what it was at that age, but reflecting back on it, it was definitely an emotion that I felt towards this image
Mhm.
that really triggered this curiosity of how photography and what is photography, you know. And I expressed this to my godfather, and he gifted me the picture. He gifted me the picture, and I still have it to this day. I have it somewhere in my house. I have my original portfolio in this album, massive album with photos that I printed, and yeah, I guess my godmother and my godfather really saw that I was inspired by that photo, and they would see me going around. This is when like sixth grade. I got into. I sorry, I'm like stumbling on my words. I'm just like thinking about all this shit that I like. Like I wanna make sure I get the details
Yeah,
right.
I'm sure there's a lot since you
There's
found out
so
so
much,
early.
bro, and I'm 28. I'm talking about when I was 10 years old, bro.
Yeah,
Like, this is a long time ago. It's kind of crazy to say, but I've been doing this most of my life now. And I, uh, my parents gave me a phone, and I would go around downtown because I started taking the Metro Mover around sixth grade with my friends, and I would go around downtown and take pictures on my phone, and I would take them home, and I would import them into my computer.
what type of phone? Like a flip phone?
It was a flip phone with
Wow.
like a mirror in the front
Okay.
with like a red rim. It was a Sprint phone, and I
So
would
the
just take
quality of
pictures.
pictures was like,
Shit,
got you.
complete shit. And I probably, if we look at my MySpace, you can find those photos if I find my MySpace.
Yeah.
But I would take pictures, I would import them, and I would edit on this Google app called Picasa, I think, and it was like the only photo app that I knew of at that time, because my aunt used to use it for her photos, and I was editing on that, and I would just post them on like MySpace and stuff like that, and then my godmother saw that, and she gave me my first camera. It was a little camera, Nikon Coolpix, and I started taking that to school every single day. It was in my pocket.
Yeah.
Every day, bro. Every day. I have pictures from those days, bro. I still have all those photos. And I actually spoke to one of my friends from middle school, from like sixth, seventh grade. And I told her, I was like, I'm going to make an album so like we can send it out to like all our friends that we're still connected with and stuff. Like, I still have all the high school photos too.
Nice.
Like, I have all of that, bro. So many memories that people probably forgot about.
Yeah.
So many faces that people probably forgot about. It's
For sure,
crazy.
For sure.
I wanna kind of like bring the community back together and like connect everyone and stuff like that. I
Let's
think it would
make
be
it
really
happen.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be down to help you out in any way I can.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember half the people, to be honest. Like, it's really sad. I have like trouble remembering like names and like what time frame they were part of my life.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean,
It wasn't until that I saw you in person that I was like, oh wait, we went to high school. I was like, wait, you like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
played
yeah.
baseball. Like, I took pictures of you. Like
Yeah.
it didn't trigger. Because I'm not a name person. I can't
It's
remember
been
names.
so long. That happened to me
And
the
that
other
too,
day where I
yeah.
saw someone I hadn't seen since high school, and I didn't recognize him at all. But for whatever reason, it was when we made that eye contact and said hi to each other, we're both like, yo, I know you.
Yeah.
And then that's where like, oh, okay, yeah, I know who you are.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, so much shit happens throughout life that it's hard to remember everything and everyone. But yeah, what I do remember from high school is that you always had a camera on you, like always. Like Chris Allmeid had a camera on him and he's taking pictures. He's a
Yep.
photographer. And then I remember after I graduated and I was just playing ball in college, I remember I got word that like you are out here doing National Geographic photography, which in my like head or my thought, I was like, that's it. Like he made it. Like to be a photographer on National Geographic is like.
So I wasn't actually a photographer for National Geographic. I got hired as a PA to work on a documentary for National Geographic, which is still really cool because it would be a first step to even getting close to anything like that, you know?
Yeah, no, to me it's still the same shit. Like
Yeah, I got paid by National Geographic, so there's that.
Yeah.
But yeah, essentially like it was a really cool gig. I just got to see what it was like to film a documentary. We filmed it about like the Second Amendment and like how black people and like the minorities are like, you know, they're denied their Second Amendment when it comes to buying guns and stuff like that, and they just have a tougher time. And we were trying to bring clarity to that subject and, you know, bring some light to that subject to really help people in that situation.
Got you. And then I'm curious because as I continue to just hear you doing great things and following your journey, I see that you're mostly working with artists.
Yes.
So I want to know, like, did you ever see yourself working with artists as much as you do? And also, how did you get to that place where you feel like this is your niche and you're gonna keep going with that?
Funny story, I had no idea that I would ever shoot for celebrities. No idea. I never thought of myself as celebrity photographer. You know, like I never wanted that title. I still don't want that title. I still don't have that title because I will never give it to myself, you know.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't want to be a celebrity photographer. But growing up when I was doing photography, I was really interested in fashion. And like I
think, sorry to cut you off, but I think instead of a celebrity photographer, you're more of a performance photographer. Because when I see the pictures that you take of these artists performing, I feel like that's exciting. Like those pictures are to me, it's like really exciting as opposed to like somebody on the red carpet just taking pictures of celebrities or like TMZ pulling up on somebody trying to snap pictures. Like,
yeah, that would be paparazzi. We don't
whack.
like those people.
Yeah, that's whack. So I'm
Yeah.
saying I respect your hustle because to be, you know, on tour with these guys and taking the type of quality pictures that you do, like I'm a fan, bro. I love it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It all really started shooting. I was shooting my boy in Wynwood, and he invited this photographer that he met. And the photographer was telling me how he shoots photos for artists. And he was showing me this photo of the weekend that he took. And I was like, wait, we can do this? We can get passes to these things and take pictures? Like, how is that possible? I never thought of it. No,
that's a great question. How I would like to ask you that. How is that possible? How do you do that?
I mean, listen, I found out about it, and genuinely, I didn't know where to start. I had no idea where to start. But funny enough, it's really weird how life works. It's like life really just, like, it's almost like you have a destiny, essentially. And it's I don't want to get into conspiracies or anything like that. If we're in a simulation, I don't.
Hey, we can talk about it
later.
In a couple minutes. Yeah.
But in reality, it's really interesting how life works because I didn't know that you can do this. So here's my timeline. I meet this photographer and he tells me how he shoots for artists. I become curious about it, but I didn't know where to start. And sometime throughout that year, once that genre of photography was exposed to me, it like created this path that I had no idea it would lead to this. And I got hit up by a friend in that same year. I got hit up by a friend asking me to go do event photography at his nightclub. That he started a party there. He's, you know, partnered up with a couple promoters and they need a dope photographer. And I used to work with him at all age events when I was like 16. I would sneak out from the house and go to Mecca and on a Sunday afternoon.
Oh, shout out to Mecca.
But
That was the first
my
club I
boy
went to.
George, he hit me up on Facebook. It was like 2014, 2015. And he was like, yo, I need a photographer. Like, what's good? And I was like, all right, I'll do it. And I think I was making like $50 a night, $75 a night. And through that, I was able to, bro, they had special guests every single weekend. PNB Rock, Birdman, Mike Will made it, DJ Mustard, like so many people, bro. Like if I'm not ASAP Ferg, like I can literally I can name you a whole entire list because there is a list online of all these artists that I ever shot for at this club, and I want to say it's at least 100 to
Wow.
nearly 150 different artists, different parties that I documented. And you can actually watch it online. It's called Promoter Story 2. It's a documentary about this promoter that just like has this like persona of like, big boss shit.
What's his name?
Jake Infamous.
Okay.
He is a big boss. But that's my boy.
you.
I'm making fun of him.
Yeah.
Macho Man. But yeah, so I got to shoot all these artists during that time, and he ended up partnering up with a different club, and he brought me on board as well with that. And I was shooting for a DJ. And his set finishes, we sit down in the VIP, and he like looks at me, he's like, yo, I'm sitting right next to him, he's like, yo, do you know when the bottle's coming? And I was like, I have no idea. He's like, all right, I think I'm gonna head home. I was like, do you need a ride? He's like, sure, why not? I gave him a ride to his hotel, and on the way there I asked him, are you hungry? Sure. I was like, all right, cool. Let's go to this one spot, Lamoon in Brickell, open till 6 a.m. And I took him. We ate Colombian food. We talked for like 2 to 3 hours. Hung out pretty much the rest of the night. And I just like went home. Never heard from him. Never saw him again. Right. And then he came into town, and I hit him up, and I was like, "Yo, can I go to your show tonight?" Sure. Hung out with him, with his manager, team. I wasn't even shooting. I showed his manager a video of mine. I was just showing him, just to show him, because his manager was also his photographer. And I was just showing him the video, and I guess the artist saw it, and he hits me up like 4 or 5 months later. And then he asked me, like, what am I doing month of March? It's Miami Music Week. I was like, I don't really got much going on. He was like, all right, cool. I'm going to book you for all of Miami Music Week. All of that led to me going on tour with him.
Wow.
But while all of that was happening, during the same time, around like the same month that I met this DJ, I also met the owners of Rolling Loud at a club at the Hangar, because they used to do shows there under Dope E&T. And I became cool with them. And, I started shooting for Rolling Loud at that same time. This was 2016. So it's just like, everything is like, I don't know. It's just like, when something was presented to me, like that I had no idea about, there's just like all these paths laid out for me. It was like, almost like I had to go down this direction.
Yeah. It's crazy how that works.
It's really weird. It's really fucking weird.
To go off of that, what direction did you see yourself heading in?
Fashion, bro. I saw myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw myself shooting Vogue. I was shooting fashion, like high fashion shit, bro. Like shit that should be on Bazaar. Like shit that should be on. I mean, my opinion, at least. But I'm always gonna be a really big fan of myself. But I'm also my harshest critic. But I genuinely believe that's a fucking fire ass photo.
No, it is.
Look at this.
That's
bro, I was shooting this in 2013, 2012, 2013. I was shooting this kind of shit. I hadn't even graduated.
Tell me about the equipment that you were, because that looks as legit as it gets. So
that was with the cheapest equipment that I've ever owned. Like,
really?
Cheapest professional equipment that I've ever owned. Rebel T2i, my first DSLR camera. a 50 1.8, or that was probably a 35 millimeter 1.8. That's a $200 lens.
So is the secret sauce on that the editing? Because how does it look that good with the equipment if it's decent?
I mean, the raw photo will still look good without the edit.
So
A
it's
good
not.
photo is a good photo.
So what
An
is
edit
the
can
what's
definitely make
this?
a photo better,
So what's the
but a
secret in
good photo is...
photography? Is it the equipment, like the camera? Is it the just the angles or the lighting?
I don't think there is a secret to photography. I think the secret to photography is just really loving it and enjoying it and really just seeing things through your lens, but also understanding that you can look at something with your eyes and you can still vision what it would look like in a camera without even having to hold a camera in front of you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you like to do candids, or are you the type that you like to create the shot?
I like a mix of both. I like candids, and I also like, if I like a candid and I feel like it could be a little bit better, let's try that. Let's
Gotcha.
try that again. Try that motion, whatever it was that you're doing. Maybe instead of smiling down, let me have you smile up. And like I'll fix the candid just a tiny bit, because it's not street photography. It's fashion. At the end of the day, we have to get that perfect editorial shot that really tells a story.
So when it's like fashion and taking pictures of the artist, what is more? I guess you like the fashion more, right?
I mean, at this point, no.
No. So
No, I
you
love music photography.
okay?
I love I I just love photography, bro.
How
Like,
how is it like going on? How many tours have you been on with artists?
I've been on 6 tours. 6 tours. Yeah, I did a DJ tour. I did right after that. I toured with Kodak. I toured with Lil Pump after that. I did a couple like one-off shows for multiple artists, but like it was like multiple times. So like we would do, one weekend yes, 2 weekends no, and then one weekend like whole week type thing, and just like do that on and off. Um, I also went on tour with No Cap. He signed with NBA Youngboy, and yeah, I've been on a few tours.
How is it like going on tour with Kodak and Lil Pump? I feel like that's kind of wild.
Yeah,
Are they as
Kodak's funny, man.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Kodak
Yeah.
Kodak would always, I would take a picture of him, and he would always be like, "Here, use this." He would hand me his iPad Mini to take a picture of him. And I'm like, "Do you just want me to buy it? Do you want?" I
Yeah.
told him, I was like, "Do you want to buy me an iPad Mini and I just take pictures of you everywhere?" He's like, "Man, that's a smart ass idea." I was like, "Okay."
Did you
So,
do it?
no.
Okay.
I was like, "All right."
It's
We never
hilarious.
followed up on it, but it was just like, he was just such a funny character. Such a funny character.
Is Lil Pump as wild as he seems, or is he more like
Yeah, bro, he
normal
was
behind the
young.
scenes?
I think he was like 18 when we were on tour, bro. He was youngin'. And it was just fun, bro, because like I would tell him, like, oh man, one of the days it was in Utah, and I went around and got 10 bird scooters, right? I paid for it, drove it to our RV van, locked it, grabbed another, like walked to another one, paid for it.
Wow.
Yeah, I did that like 10 times, and we all had scooters for the whole day, bro. And we just left it running. We didn't even fucking care about like paying it, nothing. Like we had it literally from the moment that we got it to the moment it died. And it was like we're just, bro, vibing around the entire city, just
What
like
city?
going. This was in Utah.
Okay,
In
cool.
Utah. Yeah, it was just like fun shit like that, like we'd end up going like go-karting, like we did like a bunch of crazy shit. We went to Top Golf, and like, there were some pranksters there, like some YouTube guys, and like they pulled a prank on Pump, and like Pump, like it was just like funny, like it was all like just thrilling and fun. Like it felt like I was 18 essentially, like I was hanging out with an 18-year-old. It felt like I was 18. Like it was just fun as fuck.
I'm sure it's fun, bro,
Yeah, it
hanging
was
out with
super
someone like
fun.
that.
Those memories are great. I love them. It
Yeah, I
was
mean,
awesome.
with all the artists that you've met and all the touring that you've done and all the shit that you've seen, what would you say was like the funnest artist to be
Funnest artist to be around? Lil Pump, bro.
around?
It has to, like, yeah, Lil Pump. Or even cause like it's different though, because like Lil Pump was just like adventurous, but like being around NBA Youngboy, it was like pranking. All his boys were pranking, and like it was just like busting jokes the whole entire time. Like it was funny as fuck just being around them, because they were just it was funny. It was just hilarious. Everybody in that group was funny. I don't know how they live without peeing themselves. It's insane. But
When you're following people like that, how often are you taking pictures? You know, because I feel like me, I'd want to be catching every moment. So are you like constantly taking pictures, or are
no,
you just like trying to find
I
moments?
I try to be a fly on the wall. Like I don't really want to be on top of people. You know, like I don't want to be seen there. I'm very to myself, and I'm very fly on the wall. And if I see a moment, I'll take a picture. If I see a moment and it just seems like they're having a moment and it seems personal, I'll let them have a personal moment. I won't be there the entire time trying to take pictures and stuff. People don't want people like that around, you know? Unless you're actually told to.
Hmm.
Like I've worked with artists that are like, yo, I just want you to take pictures of everything. Like just when you're with me, just shoot everything. I don't care what it is, unless I tell you don't shoot.
Got you.
And like when that time came, they would say don't shoot,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like,
And where did you pick up editing? Was that something that you learned on your own?
yeah, I just learned on my own on YouTube. Really,
Cool.
I learned a lot through YouTube, bro. Because I never went to I never had a photography class. I never went to art school. I never did any of that. Um, I was actually like I was rejected from every single art school that I applied to. From the middle school one, I applied to a photography magnet school, rejected. I applied for high school. I applied to like 2 to 3 different art schools, rejected from every single one of them. I did interviews and everything, and obviously, like I think this has, my GPA and like my lack of
For sure,
care.
that's what it
But
was.
I
Yeah.
felt like if I went to an art school, I would have fucking cared.
Yeah.
Why the fuck does my GPA matter? I would have fucking cared. This is what I wanted to do. I love this shit, bro. I went and did it on my own without the fucking high school shit, without any art school, bro. I went and did it on my own. I learned photography on my own. You know, like I went out of the way, and because I knew what I wanted, I knew what I loved, and I knew what I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
Was it hard for you, like knowing that? Was it hard for you to have tunnel vision on what you want to accomplish for yourself, and then all the distractions that life could throw at you, like outside distractions, like friends and going out and
No, because
just
my friends were all like surrounded with the photography thing.
okay,
They
cool.
all loved the pictures. Bro, Facebook was popping off. Tumblr was popping off. My boys were living, bro. We would make some Tumblr pictures. Like we would be posting on Tumblr. We'd get tons of fucking reposts. Tons of likes.
Nice.
Like it was insane. Our Tumblrs were blowing up. Our Facebooks, bro, we had like hundreds of requests of friends. Like our shit would go viral in this
Wow.
but like local
Before
viral,
viral.
you know,
Yeah, yeah.
like it was like we would get like 400 or 500 likes on Facebook posts, shit like that, you know, like thousands of likes on some pictures, and like it all my friends benefit from it, you know, so they liked and they were into it, and they would model for me, and I would practice with them. My boy Pablo Herrera, if it wasn't for him, I probably would have not known how to shoot men, because I would practice with him. I would take pictures of him. He's a good looking guy, so he looked good on camera. And we would go, he'd style himself because he always knew how to dress good. And we'd go around downtown and we'd just take pictures everywhere. We'd just be chilling, taking pictures, whatever we're doing. We're just walking around and we see something, take pictures, always. So it's just like, I never had that blockage from my friends. And even my friends that weren't into it, they were just like, they were cool with it, you know? They were like, all right. I don't
That's
remember your
important.
actual question though.
No, that was it.
That
I
was your
mean, just
question?
kind of like when it comes to following your knowing what you want and then following it.
Yeah.
How was distractions coming at you, and then if their friends were
There was
supporting
definitely
you
a
or
lot of
not, and
distractions. I mean, my biggest distraction was like, especially after high school, my biggest distraction was um, my parents wanting me to get a full-time job. They they wanted me to, you know, leave photography as a hobby, but they wanted me to pursue a career in banking or whatever it is,
right, so they
finance.
wanted you to get the full
They
time
wanted
job
me to
and then
get the
the hobby
full-time job
on the
and just
side.
like do a hobby, you know, do photography as a hobby. and it
Did you
was
go that route at all, or you just said no and didn't?
not exactly. I did take up a job that my dad offered me. He used to work for this company, and they were looking for something similar in his. It was like mailroom, office manager type of situation, and they were hiring at Univision. His company was
Okay.
hiring at Univision because it was a third party company, outsourced company. Sorry, and he got me an interview because he was really cool with the owner of the company, and he got me an interview, and I guess it's nepotism, but whatever. It's not really a crazy job, who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I had a job for about a year and a half, and then once I got fired from that job, I'm trying to gather my thoughts, sorry. I got fired from that job for being late and having absences.
Makes sense. Did you care about the job?
I didn't give a fuck, bro.
Exactly.
I didn't give a fuck. I didn't care about it. I didn't care about that job. It was the stupidest job ever. The first day I walked in there, my manager literally was laid back on a chair with his feet up, asking the boys, "What are we watching?"
No
on
way.
Netflix. Swear. He
Wow.
made me watch a weird movie. It was like I guess it's not that weird, but it is pretty weird. It was about a tire. Yeah, it was like like an indie film about a tire. I don't remember what else it was about.
That's
But
kind of weird.
yeah, it was just like, so I saw that. I was like, oh, this is mad chill. Like,
No,
all
for
right,
sure.
cool. So I wrote it out. It was nice to have a check,
For sure,
I
for
don't
sure.
have checks.
Yeah,
I don't get checks like that, bro. Like, I work,
You just hustle.
I just have to hustle constantly. But I've been able to like figure out ways to have that consistency where I don't have to worry, you know?
Do you want to talk about that? Just if any photographers or videographers are listening and want to know, like, how to be able to make it a living,
Yeah.
or is it like a secret?
No, I don't care. I mean, like you want
Just
to
to
know
help
how much
people
I
out.
make?
Like, no, not you don't have to say exactly how much unless you want to talk about it. But I'm saying
It's
like,
six figures.
okay, well,
Yeah.
That's a good thing to say.
My company a little more.
That's a good thing to say for the people that are thinking about starting a photography company.
Yeah.
So, how did you get to scale to that much? And then also like speak on the consistency of it, because one thing that I
was
think
not consistent, bro.
right. So one thing I think would be helpful for the photographers listening is how to make it consistent so that you don't need that job.
All right, so I got fired, and I was like, all right, I need to make this shit work. This is my chance to prove to my parents that I can make photography work. And mind you, I am very blessed that they let me stay at their house, like during all of this. So it did help me a lot. And I know a lot of people aren't in that situation, and that's, I'm sorry that I was given a blessing, like
Yeah,
genuinely,
but also
it's not your fault, but there's always a way either way,
in your defense, you started so young that you could take advantage of that situation.
Yes.
That you're still living with your parents because you've been hustling.
Because they already saw it.
You've been
They
hustling for so long.
saw it
Yeah.
from day one, and like, bro, now my parents are my biggest fucking supporters, and they don't even know how much I make.
That's awesome.
Like they see the passion, they see that I have sustainability, they see that I'm consistent with everything, they see it, and they kind of just left it alone, and they believe in me.
As long as you're
They're
happy.
happy. Yes, they're happy that I'm happy. They see that, and it just, right after I lost that job, I had to start hustling. I had to start figuring out how to get jobs. I was doing more fashion shoots. I was trying to get like more photo shoots. The photo shoots weren't paying much. They were paying like 150 to 300. Sometimes I'd get like 400 or 500, but I'd have to give like $100 to a makeup artist, whatever it is, and it just simply wasn't making money. And during that time, when I was shooting fashion, I was also shooting at the nightclubs. And at the nightclubs, I was only making like $75. And I would raise it up, after a few months or whatever, or after a year, I can't remember what it was. And I know at one point they were paying me like 150. And during that, obviously, like, I needed to figure out more money.
Yeah,
100%.
I'm glad you're speaking on this, because I feel that, again, for photographers listening, it's one thing to be good at photography and to be good at editing and to be good at your craft, but it's a whole nother thing to turn that into a business so that you're able to sustain your hobby and then grow with it and invest more in your equipment and
Yep.
all of that. So like, yeah, let's just keep talking about how did you merge the photography to the business aspect and then go from there.
So obviously, I started really young. My first job was at 13, my first paid job, right? So technically, I was a professional since I was 13 years old because I would get paid for my work already. But the way I took it to the next level wasn't until I started seeing more value in myself. I started seeing more value. I started to understand that I do provide value and I am an asset to anyone who works with me, because I will make you look like a rock star. I will make you look like a magazine cover. Like, I will make you look good. So I knew that I can do that. I was confident enough to do that. And from one day to another, I started offering a higher wage, a higher rate. I started charging a higher rate. Sorry. So, for example, I'm on tour, right? All of this happened when I was on tour. I realized all of this when I was on tour, my very first tour. I was in LA and I got a text, and the text says, "Yo, how much to shoot so and so for the show?" And at that moment, I was getting paid $225 to $250 per show. And I mean, don't get me wrong, you're doing, 10 shows, fine, you make some money, but and we would do 10 shows in literally a week and a half, so I was making some decent money, but I knew that the amount of work that I was putting in was worth more money. So I got hit up by this manager. He was like, "How much to shoot so and so for one show?" And I just threw out a number, 650. I just said 650.
Was that based off the artist? Like,
No, I just didn't give a fuck if I got the
based
artist
off
or
of
not.
you then, your value, like,
Yeah,
this is me.
I was
Gotcha.
like, I just put a random number together.
Okay, cool.
And I just said 650. And so essentially I tripled my price, whatnot, or so. Um, and I didn't get a response from that person until like 2-3 days later. They're like, "Yo, all right, let's lock in, you know, where are you flying out of?" I was like, "I'm flying out of LA." Cool. Sounds good. Book.
Does that mean that they pay for your flight too?
They pay for my flight. They pay
Plus
for
the
my
650?
hotel. They play the 650.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, I
Yeah.
didn't know it was that much to get a photographer out there like that. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. So
Well, shout out to you then and your value, because they definitely know the value when they're flying someone out.
yeah.
And they could have found someone in LA.
Yeah. I mean, the artist is probably getting paid like $30,000-$40,000. $20 to $40,000. What's 650 to them?
Yeah, it's a business.
What's 1,250 if you want to count the flight and the hotel and my transportation? Like. So, so I genuinely just, when I said that number, I just didn't care if I got this artist or if I didn't, because it wasn't gonna, yeah, cool, I get to shoot this artist, but if I don't, I never had it to begin with. Just because he hit me up for my rates doesn't mean that he was gonna hire me. So it's just like, what does it matter if I don't get this artist? Let me just throw out a number and see if they accept it. They accept it. Cool, fire. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go. And they accepted it. And then I got offered for another tour, and I threw out a number, and they were like, "Whoa, listen, buddy, we can only do $5,000 for a month."
Okay.
And it was 18 shows, something like that. I don't know the math on that. Let's find out.
I'm starting to see the business of photography.
$277 per show. but everything
But
else
it's
is paid for.
guaranteed, but it's
Food,
guaranteed
you
fixing,
never have
yeah.
to pay for food. You never have to pay for anything because you get a per diem too. You get $35 per day. So you add $35 per day on, 30 days on 1 month. Like, that's pretty good,
Yeah.
It's not bad.
At this point, when you figured out your value and you're hitting people up with new prices, is it something that you do where you have an attack plan and you send out emails or make this many phone calls per day to try to get work, or is it the opposite where you have so much
People
people
come to
hitting
me.
you up that you're
Yeah.
picking and choosing?
Like I've gone out and sent out emails and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I see these kids on TikTok literally like sitting down sending emails every single day, and I'm like, no,
So what
I
is
just
the
I don't want to put in that much work.
what about for the ones that aren't getting those offers, you know? Wouldn't they have to put their work out there with emails and calls, or how does that
Yeah,
work?
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I have sent out emails, but to do it every single day, I'm an artist, bro. I,
Actually, now
I
that I think about it, you did do that, but you did it in a more personal level when you were in New York knocking on doors. It's the
correct.
same shit. It's literally the same
And I
shit.
emailed them before.
Yeah, if
I
anything,
emailed
it's
them before. They didn't answer me, and I said, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna go to your door, knock
exactly.
on your door, and I'm gonna show anybody who answers my portfolio.
Yeah,
And I got no's over and over and over and over and over again, until one day I was walking out and I showed the receptionist, and I was like, "Hey, do you mind if I show you my portfolio?" He was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And I showed him my portfolio. He's like, "You took these?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "What do you who did you just meet with?" And I was like, "No one actually. I'm just I'm just going door by door to all the modeling agencies and trying to see if I can get some test shoots so you guys can see how I work." And he was like, "All right, cool. Let's get you a test shoot." I was like, "All right, cool. Let's get me a
yeah,
test shoot. Let's get me a test shoot." And it, I hustled for it. Whether I got the email or not, I hustled for it.
yeah,
That's all that is, bro. Like, it's just determination, and
yeah,
like when you have a passion, bro, you can you're ready to push those limits. You're ready to go to the next level, to really pursue what you want, bro. When you know what you want in life, you're willing to do anything to get it. And I'm, obviously there's boundaries, but I'm willing to do anything to get it because I know what I love, bro. I know what I am meant for. I know God put me in this. There's no way that God has a Chris Allmeid in this world that isn't a photographer.
yeah. That faith is big. I mean, it's everything actually. And I feel that when you're going and knocking on door to door, that's more to me. That's more valuable than an email or a call. And I feel that that's like I call it poking the universe. So if you know what you want and you poke the universe enough, as in you get off your ass, like get off the couch or get off the computer and like go into the real world and really shake some hands and meet some people,
Yeah.
then some way somehow, like it might not be the person that you thought it was gonna be, but maybe on your way there, like what happened to you, you meet somebody on the street someday that ends up being the person that gets you to meet this other person that blows you up. And I think that comes from poking the universe. That comes from you putting yourself out there and seeing what happens in return.
Yes.
So shout out to you for doing that and for knocking on some doors, because not everyone is willing to do that, especially nowadays. I feel like in today's society with the
You just got to pave the way.
yeah,
You got to build your own road sometimes. And yes, like that, like I said earlier, the path will be laid out for you, but you still have to build the road. We didn't have asphalt roads 200 years ago. Our roads were made out of rocks and dirt. It took a very long time to be able to get roads as smooth as this, bro. It's a process. Just
Yeah.
how Rome wasn't built in one day, we didn't have roads in the next day. We had to build it. It took hundreds of years
bro,
to build all
to
of
this
this.
day we're still working on our roads in Miami every
Still,
day.
still.
Yeah.
Because there's always room for improvement. There's always a better way to go about your business. There's always a better way to go about your passion.
Shout out to the bridge. They're building that bridge because there's a better way to get traffic on the north side
Really?
through this bridge. Yeah, this is gonna connect to Fort Lauderdale. So you know how
I see what that
one
is.
exit
Yeah.
that's always clogged?
I forgot what area we were on. We're on 17th, right?
Yeah, exactly. That one exit to Fort Lauderdale that's always clogged.
Mhm.
They're building this bridge to connect it there, so that way there's more flow
Yeah.
and less clogged or whatever. But
So taking it to the next scale, like scaling up your business, taking it to the next level. How do you do it? You just simply get better at your work. You get more passionate. You pour your heart into that passion, and you create what you want to create. And you really, really just fall in love with your art enough to show it to the world. And if they accept it, they accept it. If they don't, who cares? You loved it enough to put it out in the world. Heard that in a podcast. I just wanted to say it.
fire, I agree.
Yeah.
It's funny because there was a girl that was on this podcast that almost said the same thing because she's a hustler too and she has her own merch that she sells. And she said that, shout out Emily Perez, she said that you have to be confident. You have to love your stuff so much that you're confident in telling others and showing the world.
Yeah.
Because you can have great merch, you can have great hats, great shirts, great, I don't know, bikini wear. But if you don't tell anyone about it, and if you're like kind of shy about your own work and you don't love it enough to really show everyone, then it might not get the like it might not ever be as big as it could be.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about, speaking of catalogs.
Wait. I want to talk about what you just said because Tyler the Creator also said, why would you care if people are annoyed that you're posting the same thing over and over again? If you're really passionate about it, fucking publish it, push the shit out of it. People put out a project and completely forget about it. Bro, you got to promote your shit. You have to overdo it, but not in an annoying way, but simply just like you're providing something to the people that they gain value from, right? You're giving them art, which gives them, whatever feeling it is that the art is supposed to make you feel, whether it's music, podcast, whatever it is that you're creating, you're giving it to them.
Yeah, I feel like life is about energy.
Yes. And
So
you
as
can
long
tell
as-
when somebody doesn't pour their heart into shit, bro. When
Yeah.
they don't put that energy in, you can 100% tell, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
I was gonna ask you about the catalog because you had mentioned it, and I see you brought more, but the ones on the wall, you want to talk about those a little bit and how, I think, is that in Miami?
This
The
was
one
in Miami.
with X, yeah.
Rolling Loud 2017. First time I was ever on stage for an artist.
Really, that was the first time.
Yeah,
That's a dope
X actually
picture.
brought me up.
Nah,
He
really?
brought me up personally on stage. He said, "Yo."
What was it that you were
On
doing
stage.
that got his attention like that?
It was the night before. It was him, ASAP Rocky, Lil Yachty. They're all hanging out, and there was just like moments happening. I was taking pictures, and then I just had a conversation with X, and I told him about something that happened to me at a nightclub. And I fucked up my knee. I fell off the stage essentially. He was performing at the nightclub. I fell off the stage. His security, he like stopped the show. His security helped me out, and I kind of just talked to him about that. And I just said thank you, for having your security help me. He didn't remember about it, but his security was like, oh, I remember you. Yeah, like I'm happy you look good or whatever. And then he was like, did you get any good photos that night? And I was like, nah. He was like, all right, come find me on my trailer tomorrow, and I'll bring you on stage with me. Yeah, crazy.
How easy is it to, obviously you need a media pass, right? Once you have that media pass as a photographer, is everyone accessible to you, or is it
It's different now, man. It's like some festivals don't even have artist lounges anymore because they don't want the artists to hang out there. There's too many fights, to whatever it is,
Makes sense.
It's just like it's different. Before you would go to a festival, and like if you had backstage passes, you'd go to this village area, and it's like an artist village, and you'd see all the artists just hanging out there. Like stuff like that still happens at like EDM festivals, but like hip hop, it's not like that anymore. Like a lot of the hip hop phased out the artists. It's just like pull up, leave, essentially.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. There's hip hop is a lot of shit can be happening behind the
Yeah.
scenes. And what about the Kid Cudi?
Kid Cudi, That was actually moments before some asshole fucking threw a pouch of water
Oh,
on
that
his.
was the
Yeah,
Rolling Loud one when
yeah.
he.
That was
Yeah,
like
that
maybe
was recent,
a
bro.
couple minutes before.
That was very recent.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember
two
that.
Rolling Louds.
I was actually working that event, but
Oh,
I was
really?
outside. Yeah, I
Uh,
was working a whole different thing outside.
oh, so yeah, so I mean, I, I just genuinely love the colors on it. I
Yeah,
just think
same.
it's a great photo. Um, I do have a better one, and it's like a close up of him, and he's not like performing. There's no mic, but he has this smile, and you see his grills. It's
Nice.
really like it feels like I took the photo in a studio. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's something that I want to achieve more, and I've tried to figure out like how to properly achieve it, especially with concert photos. Like not a lot of people are able to get these images. Not a lot of people are seeing the images how I see them. You know, so I've really learned to take advantage of the inconsistent lighting and the acknowledgement of like the patterns that the artist is having, like when he comes, like you can kind of tell, you can anticipate those things, and just using that to my advantage to really create these images that kind of look like you're in studio sessions.
Yeah.
Like
That's
I don't
so.
want to see a mic in your hand. I don't want to see you yelling, and I want to get this like raw emotion out of you and like make it look like we had a personal moment rather than me being at a concert shooting you.
When you take these type of photos, as high quality as they are, how often do the artists see them? Like, for example, Kid Cudi, did he ever get to see that, and how did he
I have
see it?
no idea because that night was the night that happened. He walked off stage, so he was really pissed.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Well, aside
I don't
from that
know.
situation, when you're on stage and you're taking these pictures of the artist, do you send all of them after you edit them to the manager or to the artist
It
himself, and then
it
they?
depends on who I'm working for. If I'm working for a festival, the photos go to the festival. If I'm working
Okay.
for the artist, the photos go straight to the artist. If I'm working for the artist, obviously the artist always sees the images because they have to get approved by them. And I airdrop them essentially directly. And then if I'm working for the festival, sometimes I'll have an opportunity to show an artist an image because I already edited it on my iPad, so I'll have it really like easily accessible there, and I'll show them there, and if they like it, they'll give me their contact. If they don't, they'll just say cool, and then just leave.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like a hit or miss. But like the artists that I know personally, like sometimes, like if I'm shooting them, like Lil Pump in Thailand, took pictures of him, showed
Bro, that
him.
must have been
Yeah,
so
it
wild.
was
Lil
cool.
Pump in Thailand.
Yeah, that was actually recently in April.
Crazy, bro.
We hadn't seen each other for a really long time. We saw each other once for a photo shoot in December, but like we hadn't like hung out like like being in a different country. It was actually
That's
at Rolling Loud, and like it was cool like
there's a
seeing
Rolling
him there.
Loud in Thailand.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
way,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, it's crazy. They have
Yeah,
they
that
have
sounds
they
crazy.
have Germany, Portugal, Thailand.
Yo,
Now they have Australia.
that's
Yeah, they're
lit.
going crazy, bro.
Where do you think you're headed now? So, from what we've gathered today, you always had a passion for photography and you didn't let anything or anyone stir you away from what you wanted. And it seems like that's what you're going to keep doing, even as we talk about you creating more value within yourself and then learning the ins and outs of the business. And then, even like going through the whole social media experience, learning that you could also build this, but still saying that I know what I want and I'm going to stick to it. What do you think is next in your career? From everything you've learned up until now, where do you see yourself headed? Like, let's say the next 5 years. Because, again, like, for the ones that are tuning in that haven't tuned in before in the Miami Hustle, we like to follow your journey and follow you, throughout your whole career. So, the next year, I already know that you're going to do huge things. So, we'd like to have you on as often as possible to keep telling us where you're going. So, where do you see yourself in like 5 years?
It's funny because, and this is, I mean, maybe it's just a very common question, but this question has been asked to me at least 5 times in the last week by different people, and it really blows my mind how this universe works. And I think it's my fate, my destiny, kind of poking at me, like, where do you want to go? What do you want from this?
It's always been that way. It's always been you deciding and then you going for it. So I guess this is like that next level decision.
And I don't think I've decided yet. That's the thing. Like, I know what I want. I know what I need to do to get it. But sometimes it becomes a little difficult to know how to get there, because you start focusing on other things that distract you rather than.
Yeah, it is. I don't think like I want to talk about more of where do you want to get to? Because as we've talked about before, you could have a plan, but
Yeah.
sometimes you
I mean,
you
genuinely,
realize that
I wanna grow my business. I wanna grow Allmeid Collective. I wanna grow Allmeid Productions. Like, I wanna grow that business. I started a wedding company with my brother as well, Allmeid Events, and I got the ball rolling on that. My brother started taking care of the business side. I started taking care of the creative side, and I mean, we're booked up.
just
You
keep
know,
building.
like we're getting booked. We have teams, and there comes times where we literally had to shoot 2 weddings on the same day, one in Jamaica, one in Miami, and we had to get 2 separate teams. And like,
That's
but we
sick.
have the people. You know, we
That's
have
sick.
the quality. We have the people, and I feel like it all comes down with like network, right? It just, you need to meet people to really excel in life. You need to bring each other up together, you know, like you really need to help each other, push each other, and like motivate each other. And I think teamwork is definitely something that I want in 5 years. I want like a solid team that I can trust and I can rely on. I want a solid company that I can go and work in Dubai on a separate project and not have to worry about anything that happens here in Miami, because I know it's taking care of itself. You know?
Yep, that's moving into you found your passion, you're doing great at your passion, and now that next level is being a boss at what you do,
Yeah.
where you're able to be, like you said, kind of be at different places at once because your company is your control and you know that you're hiring the right people to tackle. It's like you're in different places.
Yeah.
Like your team is in different places. So that's what's
Yeah.
up. That is the next step, I feel like. That's exciting, bro.
Yeah,
That's a big move.
I'm really excited. It's also kind of like, it's kind of it's weird because I have like multiple paths in my way right now. And it's just like I can do all of this, but I saw a podcast or I saw an interview with Pharrell saying that you can't be an artist and a CEO at the same time unless you're really good with numbers. Because unless you're really good with numbers, you're gonna be caught up on that business, and you're gonna lose focus on the artistry. And he was saying how you there's artists out there that focus on being a CEO and lose touch with their creativity, and they come back and they start rapping, and they're not rapping the same. They're not creating the same art. You know, it's different, and it's because they lost focus. They looked at the sun too long,
Yeah,
and it's
that makes
just
sense.
like,
At the end of the day, CEO is a position that it's somebody that can get hired as a CEO. The founder of the company is always going to be the founder.
yeah.
So I agree with that. I feel like as a creative, it makes sense to when things are really booming and getting big to hire a person that handles certain things so that the creative could keep creating.
And that's where I'm at right now. I'm looking for a business manager. I'm working with a PR agency. You know, like I want to do as little business as possible. I just want to do the creative. I want to create art. I want to creatively direct. I want to create museums. I want to create, you know, whatever it is that I want to do.
Speaking of creating museums and stuff like that, I had seen that the Uzi picture that you took, the
Mm-hmm.
famous one that is edited like it's like a silhouette with
Yeah.
him and the it
And
kind
he
of
looks
looks
like
like
Batman.
Batman. Yeah, shout out Batman. So that picture I had seen that you created a whole kind of an event to show the people how you edit and the process and stuff. So tell me
Yeah.
more about like that picture, what it means to you, and then how you thought to go from a picture to creating an event and getting others involved, which I think is a huge step. So shout out to you for
So
that.
I'm really big on community. I love community. Like I said, I want a team. I want to build something here. And I feel like it starts with our community first. Because once you start with the community, you start to get to know the people within that community, and you start to work with those people. And I really wanted to build a community, and I started a Discord about like a year, 2 years ago almost, and it's been growing steadily. We've reached 1,500 members on Discord, which is pretty fucking cool because it's solely artist and creative based, and we do live editing sessions on there. We do live talks, and the idea for this editing session came because of Ambitious Creators. That's the name of the Discord. Ambitious Creators is this community where you get to build and connect with other people. And I was like, wait, why don't I bring this to life? Like, this should be a networking event, you know? And I hosted a networking event called Talk Shop. Talk shop because like I want people to come and talk shop. You know, I want them to network. I want them to sell themselves. Like this isn't a situation where you have to, oh, just chill. No, I want you guys to network. I want you to meet that person that might hire you for that gig. I want you to meet that person that might that might introduce you to this person that will get you somewhere, you know? And I was like, all right, what can I do that's not just a regular gallery night? Like I don't want just my photos on a wall. Like that's not what I'm looking for. And I was like, wait, it would be really fucking cool to do a live editing session. We can set up a projector, just have people sitting on the floor. And I was like, all right. So we have this programming of, like I'm going to be editing at some point in the night. But now what is going on in that room before the editing? I didn't want to have that room go to waste. And I was like, Ambitious Creators, bringing people together, connecting people. I put out a message on Ambitious Creators, and I said, send me the best 5 shots that you have. And they all emailed me, and I gave everybody I want to say like a 20 to 30 second spotlight every hour. Different members of Ambitious Creators, different people that are part of the community, and like I had their photos displayed on this projection, and then I had their Instagram with a QR code so people can just go and follow them. And it wasn't really about the photo. It was just really about like creating a community, meeting these people who look up to me, and like showing them like yo, like I grew up here in Little Havana. This is my story. If I can do this, I think anyone, absolutely anyone can do it. And
yo, shout out Little Havana.
For real.
And shout out to what you just said, because we came from the same high school, and look at us.
Yep.
We're out here in Miami still doing our
For
thing.
real.
So it really is like that, bro. And building a community of like-minded people is exactly what the Miami Hustle is all about. So
Yeah.
I'm right there with you, bro. It's extremely important, especially in a city like Miami where it's huge and it's a huge melting pot, but you need to meet people. You need to network with like-minded people that are doing something similar to what you like or what you're trying to pursue.
Yeah. I just remembered you about the Uzi photo. You asked me, what does it mean to me?
Right.
It's just a photo that was just dark, and I kind of saved it, and it blew up like crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy that you say that. I didn't think that would be the story behind it.
There was really like it.
I thought it was one of those that you
It
saw
wasn't
it
intentional.
Bro, I thought it was one of those
No.
that you saw it and thought this is iconic.
No.
Really?
I saw the image, and It was dark as fuck, and then I made my edit, and I showed my boy. He was like, yo, put highlights, like highlight his eyes. I was like, oh, that's not a bad idea, because you could kind of see the eyes. And I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it on the nose ring and on the chain. And I sent it to Uzi. I like showed him. He was like, yo, I need that shit. Sent it to him. He posted it. It blew up. Everywhere.
It did blow up
Blew
because
up
I
everywhere.
know that photo, and I didn't know that photo was connected to you until like months later that I
Really?
found out that you were the one that took the photo. That went, yeah,
Wow.
That Uzi photo is viral, bro. That Uzi photo is something that is iconic. That's why I thought it was one of those moments that you saw it and you're like, wow, this is it. But it's funny because
I liked it. I liked it enough to show it to the world. I didn't know what was gonna come from it. I got nominated for an award because of that photo. I got nominated And I'm actually going to London next week for this award ceremony.
For that photo?
Yeah,
No
for that
way.
photo. I got nominated as Undiscovered Photographer of the Year for
Because
that
of
photo. Because of the Uzi photo.
You got nominated
for an award.
And you're going to London.
And I'm going to London to the award ceremony
to
next
potentially
week.
win that award.
To potentially win that award.
Hey, you already know, you heard it here first in the Miami Hustle. When you bring that award back to Miami, you know where to come.
My title's gonna be award-winning photographer.
That is wild. That's crazy.
If God, I mean, honestly, like God willing, everything goes well, and it's weird. It like thinking about that award, being nominated for Undiscovered Photographer of the Year. It's like it feels strange to me because I have so many followers on Instagram. A lot of people in Miami know who I am. A lot of the big people know who I am. But it goes to show that I'm just really well known in this little market. That's it. And it blows my mind because I've been doing this for 18 years. And it's like, no matter how much hustle I've put into it, I'm not supposed to get that exposure until now. You got me? I continued to do it, so now is that next level where I start to get the exposure. I start to get more press articles. I start to do more magazine covers, and like all of this has been leading up to this. Like I've shot 4 magazine covers in the last 2 years, and like just like little things like that really like put my name out there. That's not just in music photography. That's not just concert photography.
So with all that being said, what does that photo mean to you? Because you said that it was just a photo that you didn't think much of, and now it's actually the photo that got nominated to get you this award. So does that make the photo more significant to you, or is it still just like a photo that you just took and like it's whatever?
It definitely does make it more significant. I definitely feel more of a like I don't know. It's changed my life, bro. In this last year, that one photo has really changed my life and like changed everything and like made it so much cooler and better. It is really annoying that people come up to me and they're like, "Oh, you took that one little Uzi photo, right?"
And you're probably like, "Yeah," and I took a bunch of other ones too.
And I'm like, exactly. It's just like this is like the very first time that I've ever been properly credited for a viral image. You know?
I think it makes sense though because it's so unique in its own way because of the artist itself. It's Lil Uzi and he's huge and he's huge in what he does, and then the picture itself is iconic because it's different than, let's say, a really good Kid Cudi photo, because anyone else would just think that, oh, that's a really nice photo taken by a photographer. But I think that Uzi photo is just so dark and different that's what makes it iconic. Yeah. It's like this wasn't just a photographer.
It's not just an image.
Yeah.
It's not just an image. It was mine. It was something I created. It wasn't a moment that I was capturing. It was art that I was creating. And that I think that's really, really cool about this image. It's just like I created it. I took the photo, I edited the images, I altered the image to make it look like that, and I created it. And like I think it's really fucking cool.
That's the best.
I think it's a cool photo. Like now I look at it and I'm like, it's a cool fucking photo.
I wouldn't
hang it in my house.
Yeah, I would love to have it here. I love what
bro,
you
it's
said.
Scary, bro. What if it comes to life one day, bro?
Fuck it, then we perform together, bro. Like it's Lil Uzi, whatever. I would love to, bro. I'll hit you up and take another one.
Yo, he's here.
Yo, I'll put this shit on, bro. I swear. That would be lit. But shit. I love what you said, how you created that. You didn't just take a photo, you created it. And I think, God willing, when you win that award, that is something that you should definitely let the crowd know about. Like, this isn't just a picture. I'm not just a photographer. This is a creative process that you're seeing. And I love that you actually showed that to your people in the community here in Miami too. You showed them what the creative process is like.
Yeah.
You're showing them more than I'm not just a photographer that takes pictures and then picks out a nice one. It's like, yeah.
Oh, I can technically be called a producer now too, exactly. Since I produce events. 2 events.
Hey,
so far.
speaking of events, the Miami Hustle, we're gonna start doing events at least 2 to 3 times a year. I'm trying to get that
Fire.
going too. So I
Yeah.
think you're
Hell
definitely a
yeah.
good person to talk to.
Hell yeah.
But anyways, we are coming up on time. I just want to ask you some questions that have nothing to do with photography. Just
Okay.
cause, fuck it, we're here on a podcast. Might as well get your thoughts. Have you ever seen any aliens or had any encounter like that? I asked cause off camera you mentioned that you maybe
Yeah.
saw something, so I want to know.
And what's crazy is I know it was real and I wasn't just like bugging out
That's a great way
because
to start it. Hey, that's a great way to start an alien story. So go ahead.
All right. I was under the influence and listen to me. Listen to me.
Even better way to start.
Listen to me. I was under the influence. The driver was completely sober. Nothing. Completely sober. And I was just a little buzzed, you know, like I wasn't drunk like that. I was just a little buzzed. And we're driving through um, Alligator Alley, going to Fort Myers. And I'm sitting on the passenger side. I'm just looking out the window and I see a square. I see 4 dots that form a square. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, there's no way stars are that bright and big. You know, like it didn't make sense to me. And I asked the person next to me, I'm like, hey, do you see that? Right? Do you see that? I'm not drunk, right?
Yeah.
They're like, no, I see it. They're like, you're definitely drunk, but I see it. You're not bugging out, bro. And I'm like, what do you think that is? That's not a radio tower. Like, that's
Was it
not an
moving?
antenna. Like, no, it's just still. It's just
Okay.
4 dots still.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, it starts spinning. Bro, I swear to God.
Did he? But did the driver see it spinning?
The driver
Just
saw
you-
it spinning,
alright.
bro. The driver saw it spinning. I promise you, bro. I saw it spinning. And it turned into one. And I confirmed it with my driver. I later, like a year, 2 years, I never told anybody about this, just me and the driver know about it. A year, 2 years later, I'm on YouTube and I see a video of 4 dots that form a square that all of a sudden turn into one.
I've seen that too.
And then I see the video, the same thing, somewhere in Paris. Then I see another video, the same thing, somewhere else. I see another video somewhere else.
I was gonna say, let me rephrase. I haven't seen it in person, but I've seen those videos. I know
Bro.
what you're talking about.
What the fuck?
And what do they say it is? UFO? Like they can't.
No, nobody knows what the fuck it is.
Yeah.
But I tried shooting it with my phone, and you know, like iPhones don't shoot well at nighttime, and Alligator Alley is pitch black, so you can't see anything.
When it formed into one, did it fly away?
It disappeared, bro. It fucking vanished. It just disappeared.
Did it vanish a way or just like disappeared? Like did it?
It kind of like thinned out. Like it was like, and then it like went like.
That's interesting, bro. What do you think is gonna happen with aliens? Like,
I have no idea, but I saw that shit in Mexico. The
that's why-
mummified
that's why-
corpse.
kinda looks
Yeah.
like that one.
Yeah. It's kind of weird though.
Life is trippy, bro.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's really, really weird.
I mean, who knows, bro? Life is a trip, but as long as it's a good one, and I feel like you're definitely making life a good one. You're following your passion, and I think that's the most important thing.
What I love.
That's all that matters, really. And I think that is powerful because it's gonna lead you to great things in life because you're following that. I think many people sometimes they have trouble following their passion and following what they love because there's so many other distractions in life, and a distraction can be money, for example. I think a lot of people work a job they don't like and give a lot of time and energy there and then don't give enough of it to their passion.
Yeah.
And you did the opposite. So you're the perfect guest for the Miami Hustle, literally. Like you live what we preach.
I am a hustler, bro.
Yeah,
I can sell water to a well.
there you go. Respect that.
Honestly, like I just like, you gotta do it. You have to hustle. You have to put yourself out there.
Yeah,
You
bro.
gotta make these connections. You gotta know how to talk to people, bro. Small talk is really important, but not that awkward small talk. Just a small talk that's able to lead you to a new conversation that really really helps improve that connection with that person, that relationship with that person, and just being able to talk to somebody. People who are easy to talk to, bro, if you're easy to talk to, people are gonna love you. People are gonna absolutely love you.
The easiest way to be someone that's easy to talk to is listen. Listen, because when you listen, you're able to ask the right question that that intrigues the person to tell you more.
Yeah.
Like, you just need to listen and be interested.
Yeah.
And yeah, bro, but I think you should definitely take your own advice going into London. This trip, I feel like, is going to be life-changing for you, bro. I mean, I can't wait for you to go there and then experience everything you're experiencing with the advice that you've given us, and just, yourself too, with just meeting new people and seeing where it takes you, bro.
Yeah.
So again, thank you for being here.
Of
We're
course.
gonna keep following your journey. Just, if you want to tell them where to follow you, where they could find you.
Chris Allmeid, ChrisAllmeid. Chris Allmeid, literally on anything.
Perfect.
Absolutely every single platform. Email.
There you go. Follow him and his journey to London, and wherever life continues to take him.
Let's see what happens. Fingers crossed.
Yes, sir.
God willing.
Until next time.